magic, everybody! And these people perished, died in the wilderness. See, they tapped into the wrong source, and it became a destructive force to them, everybody. See what happens when you get into black magic? It brings about your destruction. This generation of people who left Egypt died in the wilderness, everybody. Their children entered into another land. Why? Because they turned to black magic. They worshiped the creation rather than the creator. As Shaul said, they changed his power and glory into that of a four-footed beast. You say, oh, come on now, I'm telling them, that was a long time ago. Well, wait a minute now. I'm not done with the story, okay? Let's go to the book of 1 Kings. Many, many hundreds of years later, there's another man named Jeroboam. And Jeroboam, again, with the descendants of those people that worship the bull. Their descendants hundreds of years later, everybody, in 1 Kings chapter 12. Listen to what this man Jeroboam did. Jeroboam, everybody, chapter 12. It says in Jeroboam, in 1 Kings chapter 12, everybody, verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy Elohim, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Are you kidding me? Again? And he set the one in Bethel and the other he put in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one even unto Dan. And he made a house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the peoples, which were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered up upon the altar. So he did in Bethel sacrifices unto the calves he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense. Aaron and the children of Israel, Jeroboam and the children of Israel, are who Shaul was referring to, because they had seen the power of Elohim. They had known Elohim, and they turned around and worshiped the things that he made rather than worshiping him. Black magic has a long history, everybody. Let's go one step further. Beyond their time, even more so, at a later time. In the time of Ezekiel the prophet, everybody. Ezekiel the prophet. Go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 8. Not just the children of Israel, but the children of the house of Judah, everybody, got into the systems of black magic to their destruction. Because as that first generation that worshipped the calf of the mountain perished in the wilderness, so the house of Israel that worshipped the golden calf and black magic ritual went into Assyrian captivity. Were made slaves by the hand of the king of Assyria and taken out of their land and taken as captives to a far distant place. Death and destruction in the wilderness. Enslavement and captivity. See the era of black magic, everybody? The forces that it brings into your life. The house of Judah. Ezekiel 8, everybody. In the very house of Elohim, which had been built for the glory of Elohim. Solomon constructed the house in Jerusalem for the glory of the Elohim of Israel. And Elohim came to that temple. But you know what happened, everybody? The priests in the days of Ezekiel turned to black magic. And in the very house where Elohim had been and had revealed his glory in the days of Solomon, in that very same place, Ezekiel sees something happening, everybody. Ezekiel chapter 8, verses 5 through 10. We're going to read Ezekiel 8, everybody, verses 5 through 10. And it reads, starting in Ezekiel 8, everybody, starting at verse 5, it reads, are you ready for this? It says, Then he said to me, Son of man, lift up your eyes now the way towards the north. So I lifted up my eyes away toward the north. And behold, northward at the gate of the altar, the image of jealousy in the entry. He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, see what they are doing, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committed here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary? But turn you again, and you shall see greater abominations. And he brought me into the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. And he said unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. When I dug in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So Elohim takes Ezekiel into his house to see black magic in his house, everybody. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping thing, and abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the walls round about, in the very temple in Jerusalem, everybody. Black magic was brought to Yah's house, and Yah says, I'm far off from that place. It is an abomination to me. Why? Because they're not worshiping me. They're worshiping the things that I made. Like that is really me. I am, and there is none else. See, Son of man, what they're doing? And the house of Judah went into the captivity by the king of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, everybody. In the days of Moses, in the days after the death of Solomon, and in the days of Ezekiel, we see black magic practiced under the name of Yahuwah. Please, everybody, it's a false black magic system. And those who practice such things, some fell dead in the wilderness, others went into captivity, never to return. Others went into Babylonian captivity, death and enslavement, a prisoner in chains, exiled out of your land, exiled out of your home, taken from your family, losing all that you own. See the destructive force, the boomeranging of black magic, because it is lacking. It is an inferior system, and it will bring you to vanity. Ask the children of Israel in their Syrian captivity. Ask the Yahudim in their Babylonian captivity. But let me ask you something. You may say, okay, Aleph Tav, man, that's ancient history, man. I'm a man of this new millennia. And let me tell you, I can, through power, through black magic, be transformed and shapeshift, brother! I can take on the form of a wolf. Or a bull. Oh, really? You still, today, think that your black magic systems are going to bring you some great power and ability that you can't get from the Most High? You want to become like a bull? You want to become like an ox? Since we're talking about this, you see, here it is, everybody, crept into our circles. Yeshua said, I am the Aleph. I am the Aleph. He's not an ox. He's not a bull. He's not a calf. Yeshua is the master and king of heaven and earth. Worship him. Don't worship him like he's a bull, because he is not. He's not an ox. But you think that you want to become a bull man? The guy who took Judah captive, Nebuchadnezzar, had the opportunity to have a little experiment with shape-shifting, everybody. You say, no, come on, Aleph Tav, man. You got to be kidding me. In the Bible? Shape-shifting? Well, not so much as you may think. But let me tell you the story about King Nebuchadnezzar. Remember how Nebuchadnezzar said he extolled the Most High? See, Nebuchadnezzar learned by experience, folks. He didn't have a theory. He learned by experience. Come to the book of Daniel chapter 4 again, everybody. Daniel chapter 4 once again. Nebuchadnezzar worshipped idols. Worshipped false systems, black magic systems, everybody. He was an idolater. He worshipped the creation. He didn't worship the Creator. He, in his ignorance and superstition, practiced vain rituals and tapped into inferior sources. Because as the king of Babylon, he was also a religious figure. And remember how he had assembled all the magicians and astrologers into his court? See, Nebuchadnezzar was a magical man, a religious man, as well as a sovereign. He was the king of Babylon. He was the authority of both as political and religious affairs. So when the magicians were summoned to his court, he demanded that they interpret him the dream. Remember the story of Daniel back when we did the Magic of Scripture Part 1. Nebuchadnezzar was familiar with the supernatural, with the occult, with the esoteric, everybody. And Nebuchadnezzar had a little experience in Daniel chapter 4. See, Nebuchadnezzar had to see a perspective on who had real power. Nebuchadnezzar had just conquered most of the known world. Had conquered the people of Judah, taken them captive. And he thought he was bad. But remember that the Almighty had revealed to Nebuchadnezzar a dream. And it told him that he was the one that set him up. But Nebuchadnezzar got a little out of whack, everybody. He kind of got a little proud and arrogant about his own abilities. Forgot. See, Nebuchadnezzar began to worship himself and his own abilities. His own magical abilities and wisdom and power and authority. He began to worship himself. He forgot that the Most High had set him up, had told him in a dream. But in Daniel chapter 4, everybody, we come to verse 24. Daniel 4:24. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, who has come upon my master the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen. And they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over you, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whoever he will. And where is it commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots? Thy kingdom shall be sure to thee, but after you have known that the heavens do rule. So Daniel says, Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto you, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of your tranquility. And all this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spoke and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power, and for the honor of my majesty? And while the word was yet in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, thy kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat straw as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you, until thou knowest that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was this thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, so the hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. Everybody, you want to shapeshift? You want to take the form of a bull, a beast of the field? Ask Nebuchadnezzar how it feels. And why would you as a man want to become an inferior beast? Beasts do not work magic and bring the supernatural and the heavenly into the earthly, everybody. Men do. Why would you be a beast? You see any beast magicians? No. You see any calves and oxes manifesting and working craft? Absolutely not. You yoke them and make them work your field. Why would you want to be a beast? Why do you want to get around messing around with shape-shifting? Ask Nebuchadnezzar what it feels to be a beast, everybody. Because now, after that experience, after 7 years of literally shape-shifting, ask Nebuchadnezzar how it feels. He went from being the king of a superpower to a beast, eating grass, looking like an animal, hanging out with the animals, everybody. He sat on a majestic throne over an entire kingdom. And he was a simple beast in the field. Ask Nebuchadnezzar what he thinks about that. Everybody, black magic, be very careful, because you are in error. And you better come back to Yahshua, who Nebuchadnezzar, as I said, That's when he said, now I know and extol the Most High, because I now know he does rule. So I, Nebuchadnezzar, extol and honor and give glory